So, one thing that's making the rounds on the internet, kind of segueing back into gaming, which is kind of my main focus on this channel, even though I do like talking about comic book stuff and all that. Project Scarlet apparently is the new name for the next Xbox. Now, we all know this past E3 that just happened, they said that they were working on new hardware. And it's come out that I guess this one's going to be called Project Scarlet, kind of like how the Xbox One X was Project Scorpio. A lot of people are saying, oh, the console's going to have red on it. No, idiots. The code names for systems rarely have anything to do with what the actual system is. Case in point, let's take the Nintendo GameCube. Its code name was Dolphin. Does a dolphin have anything to do with a cube that is indigo colored? No, it doesn't. But they just, I don't know what, in the gaming industry, they just give them code names like that. So I don't think the actual code name gives us any insight into what this piece of hardware is going to look like. Though Phil Spencer did speak later on in E3, not on his stage, but was it GameSpot? It was some interview. They were just kind of sitting down talking with him, and he kind of talked about what they would like to focus on. And one of the main things he said, of course, was the two main things was that, the CPUs, there's been kind of like this unbalancing of the CPU and GPU. And what I mean by that, what in particular, he mentioned the frame rates have not been quite up to snuff of what our PC brethren playing games have been used to, because the standard on, PC has been like 60 frames per second. The PS4 and the Xbox One have struggled with that. The PS4 has been a little bit more successful than the original Xbox One, but even they weren't able to maintain a stable 60 with most games. It's eluded the consoles this generation, and even you jump to the Xbox One X, which is the most powerful console of this generation, and even it can't do 64K. And so Phil said that he wanted to work on that. So we kind of got a little window into kind of what the Xbox Scarlet is going to look like, and that is that it's going to be, and I think this is what they're shooting for, and I think the PS5 is going to shoot for this too. I think the standard, what they want is 4K and a solid 60 frames per second. For the majority of games. Now, open world games might have to, like your GTAs and your Red Deads and all that, they might have to go to a 30 because usually open world kind of type of games are a little bit more demanding on hardware. But who knows? Maybe Sony and Microsoft are going to really go all in on it and have these beefy systems that can do a solid 60 on a big open world game. Well, it remains to be seen. But I don't think we're going to see a huge leap from the Xbox One X to Scarlet as far as graphics go. I think it's going to be more of a half step. So the graphics will look pretty darn good, I think, on the next Xbox or Xbox Scarlet. But I think where you're going to see the most improvement is the frame rate, because of what Phil Spencer was hinting at there. So we're going to hopefully get, because the Xbox One X can do 4K, so it's already there. So Scarlet's probably going to do 4K way better than the X, and also do it at 60 frames per second. The other thing Phil Spencer mentioned was getting games to start faster when you install them and download them. And that's a huge issue. Like, it's no joke with PlayStation and with Xbox. Whenever I get a new game, I know I'm going to have to wait a little while because it has to install. So they're hoping one of their goals is to get to get the load times where I guess the game prioritizes what it installs, so it gets all the important files right away to where you can get into the game and play it, and all the other stuff it'll have for later, download that later. But let's get all the core files that the player needs to enjoy the game and play the game, and then all the other stuff we can download later. So what's it called, Fast Start or whatnot? They hinted at it at E3, but I think that's what we're going to get ultimately, even with the PS5, to mention them too, is I don't think there's going to be much of a difference between the Xbox Scarlet and the PS5 as far as capability, because I don't see Microsoft doing what they did with the Xbox One, the original one, where it's like, oh, you got the Kinect and all that, and kind of sacrificing, having less powerful hardware so you can sell your gimmick, the Kinect, and do all these other gimmicks with the system. I don't think they're going to do that. They're all in for making it a really powerful gaming device. So I think you might have a situation where Xbox, honestly, I think is going to be at least slightly more powerful than the PS5. I don't think Microsoft is ever going to go to skimp out on that feature. But honestly, when it comes down to it, I think they're going to be both, as far as graphics go, they're going to be on the same level. They're both going to achieve 4K gaming. And I think they also both want to achieve a solid 60 frames per second. So it's going to come down to that. Are they able to achieve a solid 60 frames per second? And also the games. The games are going to have to be there at launch, which, as we discussed in an earlier podcast, Microsoft is heavily investing in studios, so when the Xbox Scarlet comes out, I think right out of the gate they're going to have a couple of exclusives for the console. So, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of this news, the fact that, we have a code name for the Xbox, but also, do you think it's possible for these next consoles, the PS5 and Xbox Scarlet, is it feasible that we are going to get 4K gaming at a solid 60 frames per second, no compromise, or do you think consoles are still going to be behind PCs and maybe we achieve a solid 4K resolution, but the frame has to be, some games are at 60, some games are at 30, or vice versa, where you get a solid 60 frames per second, but you have a dynamic resolution. Maybe it goes down to 1080p or up to 4K, a slider for when the game is very taxing on either the PS5 or the Xbox Scarlet. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.